to One Quick Question with Infomedia, your source for answers to your questions about websites, digital marketing, and more. I'm your guest host, Elena Harmon. Today on the podcast, we are welcoming Carrie. And Carrie and I work together on a separate project called The Localist, and we have recently done a lead generator. It was called The Localist Coffee Shop Guide or something along those lines, but it was a fun project, and we thought it would be fun to get on the podcast and just talk about what goes into the lead generator, kind of a little bit of a case study on a lead generator.
Yeah.
So welcome to One Quick Question, Carrie.
Thank you. Thanks for hosting.
Yeah, of course. So we'll start by just explaining what is a lead generator.
I sort of call a lead generator an email trap. It's essentially something that you're giving people in exchange for their email address. So it could be a discount. It can be a ticket to a special event. In this case, it was a PDF, and that's pretty common, like a white paper, a PDF that you can download from your website.
So just tell me a little bit about the lead generator that we did. What was it?
Yeah. Well, as you said, it was the Localist Guide to Coffee Shops. So you and I work in another podcast called The Localist.
Yes.
And The Localist is about small businesses. So it's just like kind of everything promoting small businesses. And independent coffee shops are small businesses. And also I used to own a coffee shop. So I kind of found that I kind of did some random content on Instagram about coffee. It wasn't a plan. I think I was just ranting about coffee. And it got really good feedback. Or actually I was visiting like a couple new coffee shops that opened. And it got me thinking that it seemed like a lot of my audience was like interested in coffee shops. So what the guide is just like over 40 coffee shops in the Birmingham area. You and I got in contact with them and kind of put together just this guide. So it there's a different page for each shop, and it tells you everything from like where they are when they're open, but also like, do they do latte art? Do they have gluten-free things? Is it a good place to study? Is the parking easy? Like all kinds of stuff that I always want to know when I'm going to a coffee shop. So that's what it is. It's just like a PDF you download to your phone, and then it has a page for each of them. They're arranged by neighborhood, so people can... The idea is like no matter where you are in Birmingham, if you're like, I want to get some coffee and I don't want to just go to Starbucks, you can check that out and find maybe a new shop.
Yeah. So how did you get all of that information?
I had you do it.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, we did like a combo. And honestly, I wouldn't have done it if I knew what a pain it was going to be. But
there's a lot more coffee shops in Birmingham than we realized.
Yeah,
originally.
exactly. Yeah. I thought there were going to be like 15 and there were like 45 or something. But how it started is, I sent a Google form out to a bunch of coffee shops, and I said, hey, can you just answer these questions? And so I just thought, and really I got most of the questions from that time I posted on Instagram. Like I posted, there were two new coffee shops, June Coffee and Dawn Patrol from Domestique. And those had just opened the same week. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go work remote from these couple shops. And if you guys have questions you want me to ask, throw them in the question box. My Instagram posts don't usually like get a ton of interaction. I think that people can tell I don't really care what they have to say. That's not true, but this one was like so popular. I got like tons of questions, more than I definitely felt comfortable asking. Just like I couldn't casually go up and be like, do you have gluten-free items? And do you always have decaf espresso? And what,
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll throw these into a Google Doc or Google form. And I sent them to some of the coffee shop owners that I knew. And unfortunately for me, some of them responded, which meant I was in it now, I'm like, well, I have to publish something. So I was thinking, That would have worked, and it did work. It's just that I think I could have structured them a little differently, so I could have gone straight from the form to the PDF. Where it was like I kind of did them in question form, where I had to rearrange the way it was like worded, and that made more work for me. But once we were in it, we also had people who didn't respond, but I thought that was a bad experience for the person using it. Like, you don't get this coffee shop just because they don't check their email. So that's when I hired you, and I worked on some too, that we would just kind of be little coffee reporters, and some of them we went to the shop. A lot of them we went to their socials and their websites and all that and filled out whatever we could.
Awesome. How did you design it?
With lots and lots of hours of an audiobook and Canva. The audiobook was just for me. But I'm not a designer. Even with Canva, my stuff looked horrible before I got a brand guide from Infomedia. And I know I'm kind of pitching something there, but it's true. Like, I would try to work with just the one color from my logo, and even the Canva things, like, they basically do it for you, and it still didn't look great. But I got Infomedia to set up like a color palette for me that has like a bunch of different colors, different fonts that are the fonts that are actually in Canva. And so now I can find a Canva post that like looks similar to what I want, and kind of swap out, like change their red to my red and their yellow to my yellow. So that was basically how I did it. Just set it all up in Canva and export it as a PDF. And also I realized that, or a friend told me, I mean, I guess I knew this, but I didn't think of it, that links are live in a PDF. So we did go through and like link up like every shop's Instagram and their Google Map address and things like that, which was really extra, but I'm extra.
Helpful though.
Yeah.
Awesome. How did you promote it and get people to give you their email in return?
Yeah. I got them to give me their email because the only way you could get it was signing up for my email address. So I set up, or actually Becca Harmon, who actually works for Infomedia also, she set up a MailChimp automation so that anybody who signs up for my email address or email list, which is still true, like you can sign up for my email list and you'll automatically get the coffee guide in your email box. So I don't have to physically do that. MailChimp does that. So first I had her set that up. And so really what I was promoting was people sign up for my email list. And then you'll get the coffee guide for free. So MailChimp did the automations, or Becca did the automations, but MailChimp did it. And then the way I promoted it was mostly on social media. And I also did a blog, which I feel like a lot of people promote stuff and then they'll only put it on social. And if you like, sometimes you remember later, oh yeah, they had this thing, and you'll go to their website and there's nothing about it. I hate that. So I always try to make like a blog. Yeah. And that's kind of like the source of truth for the information. And then I also did like stories. I did a feed post. I sent everybody who signed up for the list or whatever, I sent them a post saying like, it's out, share this if you want to, like, I'd love it. And basically just stories on social. And I did a reel because, that's what you do. And really, I think the key is also to continue to promote it, which is something I'm not great at, but I have tried to do that. Like, I'll go to a coffee shop, I'll take a picture and just be like, hey, I'm at General, it's so cute. And be like, just add the link, like sign up for my coffee guide.
Yeah.
So, and those emails have kind of trickled in that way. So,
yeah, keeping it fresh on the people's minds.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and I also send it out to my current mailing list. So that doesn't really help me because I already have their email. But I also hate that when marketers like they're like, sign up and you get this. And I'm like, I already signed up with your content. So if I'm giving something as a lead generator, I really try to send it to my current list too.
Yeah.
So they're like not punished for already following me.
Once you sign up for your email list, you do not get anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I hate
No
that.
more.
So
yeah.
I send it to them too.
Well, did it work? Do you think it was effective?
Definitely. I will say it was pretty labor intensive, but it was I think it was, I think it's the best lead generator I've had. The cool thing about it is I got a big push on the day that I really promoted it, like 50 signups, but I also have like a pretty small account. So, I think that's that was very good. Was basically what I was hoping for. And then I'll get like trickles in of like 8 a day or something like that. And what's cool about this is I also, when I sent that Google form for the coffee shops to fill it out in the first place, I put an email opt-in in that. I said like, if you fill this out, you're signing up for my email address or list. So that way I actually got emails on the front end too. So those people were all added to the list too. So that was kind of cool because even if nobody had downloaded it, I already got emails out of it.
Yeah.
So can I plug it here? Can I say?
Of course.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you go to tinyurl.com/Beham Coffee Shop, that'll take you to a place to sign up for my email list, or you can follow me on Instagram at CRollwagon anywhere, or find my website, carrierollwagon.com. Anywhere you find me, you will find an opt-in for an email sign up, and when you sign up, you'll get the coffee guide.
Yeah, so we'll also link it in the show notes.
Oh, yeah.
So you can look at our website to see those.
But yeah, I think it's just like the best lead generator, I think, is something that's, your audience is interested in, and that also you're interested in. Like, you and I really love coffee shops.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though it did get a little much at like the 40th one, I think it was still interesting for us. So that's part of why it worked. Like, so whatever it is for your business, that it's like, hey, I know about this. I know my audience really is into it. Like, see if you can, like, really try to do the simplest thing that you can. This was my version of the simplest thing, which is still complicated, but like, I think that's where kind of the sweet spot is.
Yeah, definitely. I think for Infomedia, we've done one similar that's like 10 things to check on your website during COVID or something like that.
Yeah, it was like checking your website health, and because everybody suddenly cared about their website and was like, oh no, like, I've been ignoring this and now it's my only way to get in touch with people. So yeah, I agree. We did that. We had one about 10 questions your website company doesn't want you to ask. And like, that was really, really good. And yeah, just pay attention to like it really was helpful to me to see like, okay, I know people care about this because they fill out this question box. Like, that's a way you can also use like socials and stuff like that and kind of see, figure out like what people are interested in, and that'll kind of give you an idea of what they might like, quote unquote, pay for, because they're kind of like paying with their email address.
Awesome. Well, I had a lot of fun working with you on the coffee shop guide.
Thanks.
So I definitely think everyone should check it out. I use it actually all the time.
Yay.
So yeah, check it out, and thanks for telling us about lead generators.
Well, thank you. And now let's tell people about the podcast, which is brought to you by Infomedia.
Carrie is usually the host, and she's also the creator.
Yeah, and Elena is our producer. Brad Davis did our theme music, and we will have show notes to everything we talked about today, including a link to the coffee guide at infomedia.com/quick-question.
If you're interested in getting a new website, fill out the contact form at infomedia.com.
Awesome. So we will leave you with this thought. A real expert helps to clarify, not confuse. So don't take website advice from someone who can't give you a straight answer.